What's up, everybody? It's your boy Nerdicane doing another comic review. In my new thing, I'm gonna start buying some. I'm gonna start buying Star Wars books again. So don't unsubscribe. I'm gonna go back and start doing a few mainstream books, and I might start raiding dollar bins and getting some like super cringe because I've been in kind of a mood to roast some stuff, to have some fun, get funny, and roast some stuff. Okay, so in my new thing of doing indies and independents and things like that. Every once in a while, you find every once in a while you find a gem. This is it. This is a really good book. This guy Pete Calloway. I read it before I went and found out who he was on Twitter. Peter Calloway wants you buying his book. He is a comic true believer. He is all about comic books. I don't even know what his politics are because he's not screeching about it all day, which is exactly what the industry needs. So, long story short, if you this is good. This is recommend. This is awesome. I really like this. It does something stupid in the beginning. It does like a tired trope, but it also does a really good trope. And the rest of the book is very okay. Art imitates life, and that's what this does. This is you can see elements from so many other things, and you can see elements from the real world, and I'll get into that. But if you don't have time to watch this whole thing, hit a like, hit a subscribe. This is a good book. Move the needle with this. This is really good. I really enjoyed this. So let's get into it, okay? So they do one of the things, and I do like this, and I've thought about doing this in my own writing, where you start the book at a low point in the future of the book. Now, any good book is, this is going to happen. You know at some point things are going to go wrong, and they're going to have to overcome things, and things are going to look bleak. Every good story has that. Take note, Marvel. Every good story has that, where the protagonist has to overcome something, is like in deep trouble, and that's where this starts off, and it just gives you a glimpse of where he is. He's way out by Saturn. That's kind of awesome. But right here, this dude's using a telescope and he's watching out there, and he's having trouble. His wife's mad because he's out there. This starts a little bit like the beginning of Armageddon, where Jude's looking at a telescope and he sees something out there, and it just like triggers all these alarms and stuff like that. And that's what this does, and it copies that a lot, but even that copied other things, and it's not bad. This was the cool bit. This was the really cool bit. This is the part I liked, and this was too. Cut to here, and this is a space flight. Just routine space flight, they're just, I forget where they're going, but suddenly the ship starts reacting to the Kavanaugh confirmation and decides to kill itself on the side of a planet. No, not really, but this is the bad trope. This is the bad trope that I don't like, where something goes wrong, but at the end you're like, wah, wah, it was just a simulator and blah, 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 stuff like that. But so this is I forget his name, but he's sort of the billionaire funding all of this stuff. This is a new space airlines, which if you have a space airline, aside from going to space, where are you going? I don't think you can go to the International Space Station. I don't think they'd want you. Remember that time where they crashed, where a shipment crashed into it, and it was like they were stuck there without food for a long. Yeah, that's why the International Space Station doesn't want a whole lot of visitors, because the more times you try to do a docking, the more times you try to do it, look that up on Urban Dictionary, it's terrible. The more times you try to do a docking, the more risk you take, and the more risk you take, the more things could go wrong, and if you don't want things to go wrong in space, there's no ripcord, there's no safety escape, you can't just walk to somewhere safe. But anyway, this guy is slightly less eccentric than Elon Musk, and this is basically who he is in this book. They've basically just stolen that, give him the salt and pepper hair. This is a cool thing that I like. They're showing his day, meetings, research, some other stuff, the big gala at night, and this one cuts instantly to, I guess, his daughter, and boom, you just see a bag full of bloody clothes, and you're like, what? This hits the gas really hard right here. And this is really good writing. You're just like, blah, 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 following along, and you're like, whoa. So it's a dream, and it goes seamlessly. And this is a trope that's done a lot, but the way they did this was very good. Also, once again, good layout. If this were if this were bad layout, if this were a Marvel book, this panel would be here. And then when you open the book, you would see this, and like instantly you would know that already in the periphery of vision, you would know, oh, it's just a dream. So none of this has weight. So they get there and they figure it out. And this is where it gets cool. This is where the story gets cool. This is where it takes a twist. As, you know, most sci-fi, like, what was that one where the ship was just heading to Earth? Most sci-fi, when you make first contact with an alien species, they're heading for Earth. Oh, it was a documentary. There's a documentary where it was a hypothetical huge spaceship that was heading towards Earth. But anyway, this is a twist on that. There's a spaceship, and they go through, this whole page goes through it scientifically, eliminating things that it could be that would be uninteresting. This is good writing. This is good. Okay, sorry, I had to do an edit. This is very good. This is very good research into this writer, whoever this writer is, took the time to go to Google and say, okay, if there were something alien in our solar system, how would we identify it? How would we know that it's really not just a rock or a comet, something like that? And that's how this is good writing. This pulls it out. And this is the cool part that I really liked. This object, and this is why it's called the last space race. That race is important. This object is not heading for Earth. It just happens to be crossing through our solar system. It's on its way out. So this is where the race comes in. Is like they've determined that this is an alien vessel of some sort, and they can't make contact with it, and it's not contacting back. But we're not even where it's going. We just happen to be in this lucky path that we're going close enough that we can get to, and we can investigate that. And that's a really cool thing, and that puts pressure on this space race. And one thing, I think reading this writer, I'm done with it. I'm done. There's actually another cool thing too. At the end, there was a little snippet of the Lollipop Kids, and this is, I'm probably going to pick this book up. This is, looking at it, this is sort of like, you remember Monster Squad back in the day? This is kind of going to be like a more modern take on that. Look at that art. The art is beautiful. It's gorgeous. But anyway, okay, let's get back to this story. That's the cool thing, and this is where the space race comes in, because suddenly you have to get out to Saturn to intercept this object coming through. And in current year, which this is sort of current year, this might be just a few years in the future, we're not ready. Our technology and our research and our knowledge of space voyage, we're not ready to go do that. So this is something much like the original space race, just everybody racing to the moon. The technology wasn't there, but there was sort of this back in the 60s, it was a pissing match between Russia and America to get to the moon. We all know how that turned out, but that's what it was, is there was a race. They were each racing each other. While Russia was taking more risks, they had a better rocket. They were taking more risks getting into space and getting further out, but it was paying off. Yes, they've lost more cosmonauts than we've lost in the race, but it was paying off for them getting there. We went very safe. We lost very few astronauts. We lost the ones on the flight deck in the capsule when it caught on fire. But aside from that, we really didn't lose. We've never lost them in space until, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that. That's a downer. This is not a downer. This is fun. I like this. Go get it. It's definitely a move the needle. Once again, this guy, if you go to his Twitter, follow him. He's a comics guy. He is a comic book guy. He wants you to go out, and you see it every day. He wants you to go buy his comic. He's pushing his comic every day, and I think you should. But yeah, I think this is gonna be a really cool book. I am very much looking forward to number 2. Probably gonna pick up the Lollipop Kids to see what that's all about. But yeah, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching, guys. Go out and get this. Probably gonna have some new videos coming out this weekend. But thanks for watching. Hit a like, hit a subscribe, and y'all have a good day.